Welcome back to our channel. Today we explore the captivating life and career of Billie Dove, one of the most dazzling stars of the silent film era. Known for her breathtaking beauty, effortless charm, and undeniable talent, Dove enchanted audiences and became one of the most sought-after actresses of the 1920s. But beyond the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, her story is filled with ambition, heartbreak, and unexpected turns that ultimately led her away from the silver screen. From her meteoric rise to fame to the mysteries surrounding her sudden retirement, Billie Dove's journey is one of the most intriguing in film history. Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind her stardom, personal life, and enduring legacy. 1. Childhood Billie Dove's story didn't begin with Hollywood glitz or the luxury of a privileged upbringing. Born Bertha Eugenia Bonney in Manhattan, New York, she was the daughter of Charles Bonney, a Swiss immigrant, and Bertha Ida, a woman of German descent. Unlike the fairy tale childhoods that some Hollywood legends like to paint for themselves, Billie's early years were marked by emotional distance and financial hardship. Her parents' marriage was strained, devoid of warmth, and eventually her father walked away, leaving young Lillian, as her parents had renamed her, and her mother to fend for themselves. Suddenly, the already small and struggling Bonney family became even more fragile. Growing up on West 89th Avenue, Billie never had the kind of childhood filled with affection and security. Her father's absence wasn't just an emotional wound. It also created a financial burden that forced Billie to grow up much faster than most children. With her mother unable to support them on her own, Billie had no choice but to step up, finding any opportunity to bring in money. While most girls her age were still in school, she was already entering the workforce, modeling to help put food on the table. This wasn't about chasing glamour or fame. It was about survival. By the late 1910s, Billie's striking beauty had caught the attention of photographers, and soon her face began appearing in newspapers and magazines. While modeling gave her some financial stability, her real dream was the silver screen. Hollywood was in its golden era of silent films, and Billie wanted a piece of it. But breaking into the industry was no easy feat. Her first opportunity came in 1918 when she was cast as an extra in Joan of Plattsburgh. She excitedly told friends and family to watch for her big moment, only to realize she had only been filmed from the knees down. It was a crushing disappointment, but instead of letting it discourage her, she used it as fuel to keep pushing forward. Unlike many aspiring actresses of her time who were quickly disillusioned by rejection, Billie was determined. She wasn't just another pretty face hoping to get lucky. She was a young woman who refused to let circumstances define her. With every setback, she pushed harder. She knew she had more to offer than just beauty, and despite an industry that often reduced women to their looks, she was ready to prove she was worthy of the spotlight. What she didn't realize was that her relentless drive was about to pay off in ways she never expected. 2. Billie Dove's family life was far from the idealized, supportive households that many Hollywood stars reminisced about. Her father, Charles Bonney, was a Swiss immigrant who came to the United States searching for a better life. He worked as a waiter at the Somerset Hotel, doing what he could to support his small family. However, despite his efforts, life in America was tough, and financial struggles weighed heavily on the household. His marriage to Bertha Ida, a German-American woman, was cold and distant, lacking the warmth and affection that a young child like Billie needed. At some point between 1910 and 1920, Charles Bonney left the family, walking away from his wife and children. His absence was more than just emotional. It threw Billie and her mother into financial instability. Without his income, the burden of survival fell on Bertha Ida, who, instead of nurturing her daughter, relied on her to contribute financially. This dynamic shaped Billie in profound ways. From a young age, she understood that love and security weren't things she could depend on. If she wanted stability, she would have to build it herself. Her mother was not the affectionate, doting type. She didn't shower Billie with praise or encouragement. Instead, Bertha saw her daughter as a means of financial support, pushing her into work rather than nurturing her ambitions. Billie's early modeling career wasn't just about dreams of fame, it was about survival. She worked tirelessly, knowing that her earnings were not for personal luxuries, but to keep the household running. This lack of emotional closeness left a lasting impact on Billie. It may explain why, later in life, she sought relationships with powerful men, perhaps looking for the validation and stability she never received at home. Yet despite growing up in a family that offered little in terms of warmth, she never let it define her. Instead, she channeled her energy into carving out her own place in the world, proving that she was more than just a girl abandoned by her father or used as a financial lifeline by her mother. Billie Dove's rise to fame was not just about beauty or talent. It was about resilience in the face of emotional and financial hardship. 3. Career Billie Dove's journey from a struggling model to one of the most celebrated actresses of the silent film era is a story of ambition, beauty, and resilience. Unlike many actresses who were groomed for stardom from a young age, Billie carved her own path, starting as a model, becoming a Ziegfeld Girl, and eventually transforming into one of Hollywood's biggest silent film stars. Though her time in the spotlight was relatively short-lived, her impact on the film industry was undeniable. Billie's career took off when she was discovered through a simple modeling gig. After posing for an emulsified coconut oil advertisement, she caught the eye of Florenz Ziegfeld, the legendary Broadway impresario behind the Ziegfeld Follies, a prestigious theatrical revue known for showcasing the most beautiful and glamorous women in America. Though Billie initially had no interest in becoming just another chorus girl, Ziegfeld saw something unique in her. He pursued her relentlessly, eventually convincing her to join his production. Despite lacking professional singing or dancing experience, Billie became the highest-paid performer in the Follies, proving that her sheer beauty and undeniable presence were enough to captivate audiences. Yet her time in the Follies was shrouded in speculation. Rumors swirled that she was either romantically involved with Ziegfeld or had angered his wife, Billie Burke, leading to her abrupt departure from the stage. Others believe she broke her contract to chase a greater dream, Hollywood. Regardless of the truth, Billie was ready for more than just being a stage beauty. She set her sights on film, where she could craft an identity that extended beyond a pretty face in a dazzling costume. With her striking features and camera-ready poise, Billie transitioned effortlessly into silent films. Signing with Metro Pictures, she quickly landed roles that showcased her charisma and natural screen presence. Her early films, such as Get Rich Quick Wallingford, 1921, and At the Stage Door, 1921, gained her attention, and soon she was one of the most in-demand actresses of the decade. Unlike many stars who struggled to find work, Billie churned out 5 to 6 films per year, demonstrating her work ethic and industry appeal. Hollywood couldn't get enough of her. She was frequently compared to Clara Bow, the ultimate it girl of the time, and was even hailed as the most beautiful actress in the world. But Billie was more than just a rival to Bow. She had her own brand of allure. While Bow was known for her wild, flirtatious energy, Billie exuded a more refined, almost ethereal quality, making her equally magnetic, but in a completely different way. One of her most groundbreaking achievements came in 1926, when she became the first actress to be screen tested in Technicolor. Cast in The Black Pirate, she starred alongside Douglas Fairbanks, one of the most famous swashbuckling heroes of the silent era. Her flawless complexion and delicate features photographed so beautifully in color that the filmmakers abandoned their original plan to cast a non-professional actress and gave the role to Billie instead. However, her leading lady moment was complicated by behind-the-scenes politics. Fairbanks' wife, Mary Pickford, reportedly forbade her husband from sharing an on-screen kiss with Billie, ensuring that the final romantic scene featured Pickford instead. As the film industry evolved, Billie faced her biggest challenge yet, the transition to sound films. Unlike many silent stars whose careers ended due to their unsuited voices, Billie had both the look and the voice to succeed in the new era. She starred in 11 talkies, proving that she was more than capable of adapting. However, her frustration with Hollywood politics began to take a toll. Her last major film, Blondie of the Follies, 1932, became a turning point in her career, but for all the wrong reasons. Starring alongside her close friend Marion Davies, the film had the potential to be a great success, but William Randolph Hearst, the powerful media mogul and Davies' benefactor, interfered heavily in the production. Determined to make Davies the sole star, Hearst manipulated the film's editing, marketing, and final cut, ensuring that Billie was overshadowed. Although Billie gave a strong performance, she quickly realized that no matter how talented she was, industry favoritism and powerful figures like Hearst could dictate a film's outcome. After over a decade in Hollywood, Billie decided she had enough. She didn't want to fight for roles, beg for recognition, or play the game of politics. In 1933, she walked away from Hollywood at the height of her fame, choosing a life of quiet dignity over the cutthroat business of entertainment. 4. Scandal. If Hollywood is a battlefield, then Billie Dove was a warrior who knew how to navigate the industry with grace, until power, influence, and betrayal forced her to walk away. Though she was known for her beauty and elegance rather than controversy, her entanglements with two of Hollywood's most powerful men, Howard Hughes and William Randolph Hearst, became the kind of scandals that could make or break a career. Billie wasn't just another silent film star. She was a woman caught between love, ambition, and the ruthless politics of Hollywood's golden age. One of the most infamous chapters in Billie's life was her relationship with Howard Hughes, the eccentric billionaire who had a habit of collecting Hollywood's most desirable women. Hughes, known for his aggressive pursuit of what he wanted, whether it was airplanes or actresses, became obsessed with Billie the moment they met. At the time, she was still married to director Willard Mack, but that didn't stop Hughes. Instead of winning her heart through charm alone, he made an audacious move, offering Mack a staggering $325,000 for a divorce. It was an unprecedented transaction, and Mack, whether out of indifference or opportunism, accepted the deal. Billie was free. But rather than rushing into Hughes's arms, she shocked everyone by ending their engagement before they could marry. Their romance didn't end there, though. Billie and Hughes continued their relationship, but Hughes's controlling nature soon became suffocating. In an attempt to keep Billie close, he bought out her contract from First National Pictures, ensuring that he had control over her career. Whether this was an extravagant display of devotion or an act of possession, one thing was clear. Billie was no longer just an actress. She was a woman ensnared by one of the most powerful and obsessive men in Hollywood. Eventually, Billie had enough. She walked away from Hughes, refusing to be just another name on his long list of conquests. But her career, already under the weight of industry politics, was about to face an even greater challenge. If Howard Hughes was the man who tried to control her personal life, Then William Randolph Hearst was the man who sabotaged her career. Hearst, the ruthless media tycoon, was notorious for using his influence to shape Hollywood to his liking, particularly when it came to promoting his mistress, Marion Davies. Billie and Marion had been close friends, and when they were cast together in Blondie of the Follies, 1932, it seemed like a perfect opportunity. But behind the scenes, Hearst had other plans. Billie's role was meant to be equal to Davies, but Hearst refused to let that happen. He forced the studio to cut many of Billie's best scenes, reshaping the film so that Marion remained the undeniable star. Even in promotional materials, Billie's name was practically invisible, while Davies was displayed in bold letters. It was blatant, calculated favoritism, and Billie knew exactly who was behind it. Frustrated and humiliated, she considered suing the studio, but doing so meant risking her friendship with Davies and battling a man as powerful as Hearst, a fight she knew she couldn't win. Instead, she did something few actresses in her position would ever dare to do. She walked away from Hollywood altogether. At just 30 years old, at the peak of her fame, Billie Dove turned her back on the industry, choosing dignity over desperation. Unlike many stars of her era, Billie didn't try to claw her way back to relevance. She didn't spill secrets to the press, she didn't write scandalous memoirs, and she didn't attempt a comeback. Instead, she let go of Hollywood with quiet grace, proving that real power isn't about how long you shine in the spotlight. It's about knowing when to walk away. Marriage. If Hollywood was a storm, Billie Dove knew how to sail through it with grace. But when it came to love, her journey was far less steady. Her marriages reflected the different stages of her life. One marked by relentless pursuit and instability, another by quiet happiness and retreat from fame, and a brief, final attempt at companionship. Through it all, Billie remained a woman who knew when to walk away. Her first husband, Willard Mack, was not a man used to taking no for an answer. A well-known director and playwright, he met Billie on the set of her second film and became instantly enamored. Mack, significantly older than her, saw Billie as the perfect combination of beauty and innocence, and he proposed to her repeatedly. Eventually, Billie accepted, perhaps out of exhaustion rather than love, but their marriage was doomed from the start. Billie's career was soaring, while Mack, accustomed to being the more powerful figure, struggled with his wife's growing fame. Their busy schedules kept them apart, but even when they were together, their relationship was filled with tension and frequent fights. The real breaking point came when Howard Hughes entered the picture. The young billionaire, known for his obsession with beautiful actresses, offered Mack $325,000 for a divorce, an outrageous sum at the time. Whether out of bitterness or pragmatism, Mack accepted the deal, and the marriage ended in 1929. But Billie, rather than immediately marrying Hughes, ended their engagement before it even began, proving that no amount of money could dictate her choices. After the chaos of her first marriage and the possessiveness of Hughes, Billie sought something different. In 1933, she married Robert Keniston, a wealthy oil tycoon, and left Hollywood behind. Unlike Mack, Keniston had no ties to the entertainment industry, offering Billie a life free from the pressures of fame. Together, they had one biological son and an adopted daughter, living a quiet, happy life away from the public eye. Their marriage lasted 37 years, making it one of the rare, stable Hollywood love stories. Following Keniston's death in 1970, Billie briefly remarried, though the union lasted only 4 years. It was a short chapter, lacking the deep connection of her second marriage. By then, Billie had lived through the highs and lows of love, fame, and fortune, making it clear that she had always been a woman who knew how to take control of her own story. 6. Other relationships. Billie Dove was more than just a Hollywood beauty. She was a woman who navigated the industry's tangled web of friendships, rivalries, and power struggles with quiet grace. One of her closest friendships was with Marion Davies, a fellow actress whose career was heavily influenced by media tycoon William Randolph Hearst. Despite the controversy surrounding Blondie of the Follies, a film in which Hearst deliberately overshadowed Billie to favor Davies, the two women remained on good terms. It was through Davies that Billie was introduced to Howard Hughes, a relationship that would later become one of the most talked about affairs in Hollywood history. But while Billie thrived in friendships, she also had her fair share of competition. In the 1920s, no two actresses were compared more than Billie Dove and Clara Bow. Bow, the wild and carefree it girl, embodied Hollywood's rebellious energy, while Billie was the epitome of refined elegance. Though they were often pitted against each other, Billie's understated charm made her a distinct force in her own right. Her connection to Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford was another example of Hollywood politics at play. Cast alongside Fairbanks in The Black Pirate, Billie should have had a defining romantic moment with him, but Pickford, Fairbanks' wife, refused to allow an on-screen kiss, ensuring that the final romantic scene was between Fairbanks and herself instead. Even with these setbacks, Billie's reputation remained untarnished, proving that she didn't need to fight for attention. Her presence alone was enough to leave a lasting impression. When Death and Legacy, Billie Dove may have left Hollywood behind, but Hollywood never forgot her. After her final film in 1932, she did what few actresses of her time dared. She walked away at the height of her fame, choosing a life filled with family, art, and adventure over the relentless demands of stardom. She spent her later years immersed in painting, poetry, and even aviation, becoming one of the earliest female pilots, a testament to her fearless spirit. Unlike many of her peers who struggled to stay relevant, Billie had no interest in chasing the spotlight. She had lived the Hollywood dream, and now she was content creating a different kind of life, one where she defined her own happiness. On New Year's Eve, 1997, at the age of 94, Billie Dove passed away, leaving behind a legacy far greater than the sum of her years in film. Though she had retired early, her impact on Hollywood remained undeniable. She wasn't just another silent film beauty. She was an icon of an era, a woman who could rival the biggest stars and yet never let fame define her. Even outside of Hollywood, her influence endured. Most notably, Billie Holiday took her stage name in tribute to the actress, a sign of the lasting impression she made on the world. Over the years, her films were rediscovered and restored, allowing new generations to appreciate her talent, elegance, and screen presence. Critics and historians recognize that her departure from Hollywood wasn't a loss of relevance, but a conscious choice, proving that greatness isn't measured by the length of a career, but by the impact one leaves behind. Even now, she remains a symbol of grace, beauty, and quiet strength, proving that sometimes the most powerful legacy is knowing when to walk away on your own terms. Though Billie Dove stepped away from the spotlight, her legacy as one of the silent era's most iconic stars continues to shine. Her films, beauty, and impact on early Hollywood remain unforgettable. What do you think was the most fascinating part of her story? Let us know in the comments below. And if you love exploring Hollywood's golden past, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more incredible stories. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.